Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan: support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Monday. We actually have a thought piece scheduled to drop this upcoming Monday, so definitely be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing, and we provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is mental health. And the conversation around mental health, I want to keep it light around the new year and give you some suggestions as to some healthy habits that you might want to take on for this 2025 upcoming year. And so this is tongue-in-cheek, and more so as it relates to habits and ways of engaging with other people. So it's mostly about social norms, social habits that you can take on that not only protect your mental health, but create a healthy space for everyone involved, so everyone in your network. And so I think that these are tips that I myself personally implement. They're tips that I keep in my back pocket, regardless of what setting I'm navigating in, and it's definitely helped me. And so I'm here to share these healthy habits that maybe you want to take on that might help you as well. And so this is really about boundary setting, but also about knowing your power and staying confident in who you are and not allowing circumstances to shift and change your core identity. And so how that translates oftentimes is in conflict, when you feel discombobulated. And so whenever I'm in conflict or if I'm feeling discombobulated, here are some healthy habits that I keep in mind. So without further preamble, the first one is about disengagement. I am very comfortable disengaging from a conversation that I do not feel is going anywhere. I don't think that it benefits me or the person that I'm in a conflict with or having a disagreement with to just continue to go in circles. And so my focus in any conflict, regardless of how emotional it is, regardless of the situation, the circumstance, or the person I'm arguing with, is resolution. I will never engage in a conflict for the sake of blowing off steam. That's just not my personality. My focus is on, well, how do we move beyond this? And so if I'm in a conflict with someone, if I'm having a conversation with someone and they're more focused on like, how do I break this person down, or how do I assert my power over this person, if they're trying to do anything other than reach a resolution with me, then I'm completely going to disengage and find different ways to get that issue resolved. I am not someone who is interested and have never been interested in asserting my power over others, or in trying to make other people feel small, or in trying to make other people feel disrespected. That's not why I engage in conflict whatsoever. If I am going to engage in conflict and I see that there is a purpose and I see see that there is a resolution in sight, then I'll maintain that interaction. But if ever I feel like, hey, like we're both not on the same page, we're not both looking for the same things out of this conflict, like I'm looking for a resolution, but you're looking to blow off steam, disengage. I think that this is a great habit, and you don't need to give a super long explanation. You'd be like, you know what, like we're both not looking for a resolution. When you're ready to find a resolution with me, then let's have this conversation. If that's not something that you're ready to do, then these are the different channels that I'm going to exercise to get the resolution that I'm looking for. But clearly talking to you is not going to help me a bit with it. And so I think it's really important that we understand that we have disengagement as part of our arsenal. It's not retreating, it's respecting your energy. And I have too much respect for my energy to allow myself to go into circles to blow off steam with someone who doesn't have the same objectives or goals that I do. So if next time you're in a conflict, if you find that both of you aren't on the same page, and that same page is resolution, and just so you know, conflict should only be something that you engage in for the purpose of seeking resolution. If you have other reasons why you're in conflict with other people, and that's stuff that you want to unpack, you want to unbury, and you want to deal with in a healthy, adaptive way, and not through engaging in conflict with everyone or with the people that you meet on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's really, really important that we recognize like when and why we would engage in conflict, recognizing that conflict is only something that is worth our time and attention if we can find a resolution, like common ground. And if you do not think that that's something that's going to happen, disengage completely. There are many ways to get to Rome. There are many ways to achieve the specific objective. And if you can't have it having a conversation with someone, I trust and believe you can find a resolution in different ways. And so that's one healthy habit. Disengagement is really important. And I think that that's something that all of us should sort by way of a tool that we leverage in our wheelhouse. If we find ourselves in a conflict that we feel is going nowhere, disengagement is great. It saves your energy, and it helps the other person like reassess like why it is that they feel inclined to behave in the ways that they do, and hopefully come back with a more level head as to like what's going to be the best value add for their time as well. Next healthy habit that I want to talk about on today's session is state your case and make your peace. So this is really, really important when it is the case that you find that there are people in your life that aren't meeting your expectations, or there's a gap in expectations, and you really want those relationships to work, right? Like these are relationships that you've invested in and however ways that translates. But I am not someone who believes in chasing people. And I think that it's really important that we recognize that people's behaviors are an indication of how they prioritize you, how they value you in proximity to their other priorities and their other obligations. And so I think that it's really important that we give everyone the opportunity to recognize that there's a gap, because sometimes people can be ignorant to it. But if someone isn't meeting your expectations and you find that you're disappointed and you're feeling downtrodden because you're not meeting those expectations, then state your case and make your peace. And I think that this is really important because you need to have the conversation to let them know like, hey, like these are the different ways that I show up for you, and these are the different ways that I was hoping that you could show up for me. Like, is that something that we could do? Like, if you want to try to salvage the relationship the way that you've envisioned it or the way that you have perceived it, and if they don't respond with changed behavior, then make your peace. I don't think any of us should be chasing relationships in 2025, whether they're platonic, professional, or personal. It's time for us to start making room for the connections that are for us, and that means making space by making peace with the people who aren't for us. And too many of us, we're too bogged down in relationships that are a lot of upfront work, and we don't realize how much work we're putting in and how much of a disbalance there is in work being put into those relationships, because we haven't given ourselves the opportunity to really think about, well, hey, like, are we on the level playing field? Like, are we both as invested in this relationship working? And when I say relationship, I mean friendships, I mean acquaintanceships, I mean partnerships. Like, I don't just mean romantic relationships. So I think that it's really important that you state your case and you make your peace, right? And when I say you make your peace, you decide, well, okay, like, if it is going to be this way forever, like if this is going to be the baseline, like, am I okay with that? And if I'm not okay with that, I've already stated my case, so I need to make my peace and then align my energy accordingly. And so aligning your energy accordingly could be like, okay, well, I'm going to take this time and energy that I've invested here and put it elsewhere. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean you burn the bridge, but it does mean that you adapt. You adapt by aligning the energy and the investment that you have put in to the energy and investment that you see is coming towards you. I'm very big on reciprocity. I'm very big on reciprocal relationships. And I always want to feel like the energy and the time that I'm investing is coming back towards me. I never want to feel like I'm the only one doing the heavy lifting in any dynamic that I invest my time and energy into. And I think it's really important that we give ourselves that opportunity to create space for the kinds of relationships that fuel us, that energize us, as well as the relationships that we're happy to fuel and to energize ourselves. So that's really, really important, to learn the practice of stating your case and then making your peace with like how things, like where the chips fall, that's where they fall. That's okay. No harm, no foul. people, but I will adapt and align my energy accordingly because I'm not chasing anyone in 2025. I'm not chasing things that are not looking for me. I want synchrony, I want reciprocity, and I want to feel like my energy is just as valued as the energy of the people that I value. And last but not least in this video, I want to talk about the small dose method. And so since I started this YouTube channel, I've been talking a lot about how I interact with people on a day-to-day basis. And I am not someone who believes in trying to control other people's behavior. I want you to show up as authentically as you feel inclined to. I want you to be the, like whoever it is you want to be on any which day, like you be that person. And I will never be the person who tries to put words in your mouth, who tries to tell you how to behave, who tries to tell you like what to think, what to act. That's not who I am. But how you show up will dictate how much of me you get. And so this is what I call the small dose method. If someone is showing up in a way that is draining, that is tiring, that doesn't feel good, like let them be who they are, but then adapt accordingly. And so for me, like if the way that someone shows up is very antagonistic, if it's draining, then what you're going to find me do is just smaller doses. And smaller doses, so this mean it's manageable and it's not going to be something that ruins my day. Because for me, I'm more invested in protecting my peace and protecting my energy than trying to tell someone how to behave. I don't think that that's my place, especially if they're not like my child. Like I'm not here to parent other adults or other people, but your behavior is going to dictate our relationship. Our dynamic is going to be based on your behavior. I've always said to everyone, I'm a mirror. I am someone who is always willing to engage in healthy, happy interactions and dynamics and relationships. But if I don't feel like that's being reflected to me, then I'm not going to invest into a void, but I'm also not going to like continuously subject myself to behaviors that I find to be are toxic, that are draining, that are exhausting, or that are frustrating. I'm going to make myself scarce because that's what I have control over. I have a control over my response. And so my response to behaviors that I find are just not pleasant for me is about smaller doses. But in environments where we find ourselves having to build bridges and to make accommodations, then just protect your peace. Protect your peace by giving yourself a strategy, a roadmap of how you're going to respond in a way where you're preserving your energy, where you're still feeling good at the end of the day. You're not giving anyone the power to bring your day completely down. And how you do that is you just leverage the smaller doses method. If someone is showing up like in a way that makes you feel like, okay, like this is a little bit too much for me, this is a little, X, Y, and Z, then it's not about controlling their behavior and about dictating their behavior. Like people should, and always, I believe that people always should show up the way that they want to authentically, but I think that there's a consequence to how you feel inclined to showing up, right? And if you want to show up in a way that's not inviting, that's not friendly, that's not warm, that's not welcoming, then you should then recognize that the natural consequence of that is that people don't necessarily want to spend a whole heck of a lot of time around you. But for us, as it relates to the healthy habits that we engage in, it's really about protecting our peace, knowing our worth, knowing our value, expecting reciprocity, and showing up for people who show up for us, and recognizing that we always have the choice to disengage, to exercise silence. We don't always have to respond and react to everything that is happening around us. We can be intentional and mindful about where we put our energy and how we choose to respond to the things that happen around us. And so those are some of the healthy habits that I wanted to give you as we think about 2025 and build out those resolutions. And I hope that those habits are going to be helpful for you. If you pick one or all three, I mean, they have been so helpful for me and so beneficial as it relates to me protecting my peace and maintaining my sense of centeredness, my sense of groundedness, which I love feeling as I navigate in the world around me. So that's it for today. Some food for thought for you. And if you're interested in continuing this journey of self-discovery, of self-mastery, and cultivating these soft skills that will help you maximize the life that you live, then definitely check out our live events. We do host twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our website. So definitely check that out. And if you do find that you want to participate in a majority of them, then join our Game Changer community. Be a game changer and be the change that you want to see in this life around us. And so that's it for today. As it relates to my stalking situation, no information for you as yet, but you will be the first to know when I do. Thank you so much again for your time and for your attention, and we'll talk to you all very soon.